it can cause us to lose control of what we need to be doing. We acquiesce to things that causes us to go on a spiral, a downward spiral. And sometimes we can allow others to cause our behavior or our actions to cause us to go to a lower level. And we have to learn how to take control of ourselves. We should not allow negativity to bring us down. We shouldn't allow others to cause us to get out of character. So we have to learn how to break that chain that go downward and try to find a way to go upward. Let's just look at some of the things that I just mentioned. If we were to look at our finances, as long as we are doing well, we're okay. But when you look at what done happened this past year, and where a lot of people done lost their jobs, and they didn't have the same finances that they would normally have when they was working every day. Situations like this can cause us to go in a downward spiral. It can cause us to get to the point where we are depressed. Get to the point where we don't know what we're going to do. Because most of us, we are buying something. We are buying our homes. We are buying our vehicles. And we owe somebody. So when you lose your job and you are unable to pay your bills, it can cause us to have problems that can cause us to go on a downward spiral. Look at what the scriptures tell us, though, in Proverbs 22 and verse 7. Because I believe if you're over the age of 25, you might be in this condition. And in some cases, even younger. Proverbs 22 and verse 7 say, "The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is a servant to the lender." We are borrowing money for something. Whether we borrow from the bank to pay our house note or our car note, we owe somebody. And because we owe somebody and we lose a job, that can really bring us down to the point where we can't handle it. Just think about living with the uncertainty of the world. With COVID-19, afraid of getting sick, and on top of that, losing your job. Things like this can cause us to lose hope. It can cause us to wonder whether or not we're going to make it from one day to the next. It don't just have to be you losing your job, you can make bad investments. But it can cause you to have problems. Problems to the point where you don't know what you're going to do. Especially when we read the scriptures, and the scriptures tell us in Ecclesiastes 10 and verse 19. And we love to read this because we done found that this is true. It says, a feast is made for laughter, and wine maketh merry. But money answereth all things. When you understand that it takes money to be able to survive, and you don't have the help necessary, it can really cause us to do things that we normally wouldn't do. And so we have to learn how to channel that energy, break the chain of giving up, break the chain of telling people, I don't know what to do, and then figure it out. Some of us, when we are used to making money, we love it so much we don't want to get rid of it. We can't deal with not having it. Look at Ecclesiastes, the 5th chapter. And we're going to go to the 10th verse. It says, he that loveth silver shall not be satisfied with silver, nor he that loveth abundance with increase. This is vanity. If you love money, and your money is not like it used to be, it can cause us to break up our families, leave home. I done seen cases where if a man lose their job, the woman will leave him. Or if the woman lose their job, the man will leave them. Because they can't handle the fact that they are not in the position that they once was in. And then some of us know that we don't have the things that we used to have, the money that we used to have, and we still go out and buy. We still go out and do things unnecessarily because we don't consider the fact that we are not making the same amount of money. And so we go out and we spend with no intention of paying it back. The scriptures let us know that this type of behavior is an abomination to the Most High. If we're going to borrow, we should pay it back. We should do everything we can to try to pay off what we owe. Look at what the scriptures tell us. In Psalms 37, in verse 21, it says, the wicked borrow and pay it not again, but the righteous showeth mercy and give it. If you are righteous, you're going to do the right thing. You don't go out and borrow money knowing you're not going to pay it back. I don't know how many of you done tried to help somebody out, and they come to you and say, look, let me borrow $20, or let me borrow $10. And they know they're not going to give it back to you. When you bring it up to them, they get mad. We have to learn how to break that cycle and learn how to do things that are right. Proverbs 13 and verse 11. And this is dealing with people who get money dishonestly. They might want to get money the quick way, heading down that road, stealing, selling drugs, going to the boat trying to get quick money, and end up losing. Trying to get that fast money. So the scriptures tell us in Proverbs 13 and verse 11, wealth gotten by vanity, by dishonesty, trying to get it quick, shall be diminished. But he that gathereth by labor shall increase. When you work for it, when you work knowing that you have that paycheck coming in every week, it makes a difference. You feel the difference because you have that surety of life. A lot of us can deal with the surety. We can't deal with things that are not going the way we want it to go. That's when we start doing things that's against norm. That's when our behavior begins to change. But when you do things the right way, the Most High will bless you the right way. The scriptures tell us in Proverbs, the 10th chapter, in the 22nd verse, the blessing of Yah, it maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrow with it. When your blessing comes from the Most High, when you are doing things the right way, the Most High won't give you sorrow. He will only give you blessings. Because I don't care who you are, whatever you have in life, I don't care how much you have, I don't care how much money you have, understand that the only reason you have it is because the Most High gave it to you. And I know that there are some people who go out and get it dishonestly. But if you have anything, it's because the Most High gave it to you. Look at what Hagar said in Hagar, the 2nd chapter. And we're going to go to the 8th verse. Because I love what the Most High said in these verses. He said, the silver is mine, and the gold is mine, says Yahweh. The Most High let you know if you got money, it's his. So if his and he allowing you to get some of it, then you should be wanting to show the Most High how much you appreciate what he has blessed you to have. And I want us to go to Psalms 24, and we read this all the time. We love this psalm. In Psalms 24 and verse 1, it says that the earth is Yah's and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. Everything belongs to the Most High, including you, because he made you. He made everything that is. So we should be ready to give back to the Most High. So when we have problems with money, my point to all of that is that whenever problems come up where we do lose our job, don't go out and try to make fast money. Don't go out and try to do things that will cause your situation to get worse. But go to the Most High, since everything belongs to him in the first place. Take it to him. Breaking the chain. We also need to break the chain when it comes to our health. And I'm talking to me now. Eating things you know you shouldn't be eating. Doing things you know you shouldn't be doing. Refusing to exercise the way you should be exercised. And we know that the health crisis is another problem that especially hit our people hard. Because of the way we eat. The way we eat unclean. Even though the Most High tell us what we can and what we can't eat. A lot of our people still have that slave mentality. During slavery, we couldn't eat what we want to eat. In order for us to survive, we had to eat leftovers. And it was the leftovers of the whole that most of us ate. That very thing the Creator told us not to eat. That's what we eat. And eating that whole, most of our people have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, have all types of problems. And it deals with what we eat. We are sick. And I understand my problem is I like to eat. I'm a big guy. I love to eat. And I know I need to be eating healthier. A lot of us love to eat meat. When meat is really not good for us. It causes a lot of the problems that we have. I'm talking about breaking that chain. Finding ways to do better. And I know it's hard. It's difficult. It's difficult to change what you've been doing for years. I grew up in the country, eating wrong. Never knew it was wrong to eat pork until I came into this way of life. So I have a lot of years of eating unhealthy under my belt. And I know it's going to take a lot to get me straightened out. But this is what we have to understand. Look at Psalms, the 73rd division. In the 26th verse. It says, my flesh and my heart faileth, but Yah is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. If we understand that the Most High have told us what we can eat and what we can't eat, what's good for us and what's not good for us, we can do a whole lot better. But like most of us, we've been westernized. When you are from a cold climate, your diet is mostly meat. But when you are from a warm climate, your diet is mostly fruits and vegetables, which is what our bodies are used to. But we done took on the ways of their diet where they can survive. Our health is failing because we are not used to it. And until we are able to go back to what the Most High has given us, which was the herbs, we are going to continue to have the problems that we have. And I'm not talking to you all, I'm talking to me. I'm talking to me. And when you are unhealthy, I'm going to show you some of the things that can come up when you have health problems. You can get depressed, feel emptiness, boredom. You ever notice when you're not eating right how tired you are all the time? The minute you eat, you're ready to go to sleep. It's because we're not eating right. And because we're not eating right, our health is causing us to have other problems, mental problems. When you are healthy, when you are feeling good about yourself, your whole attitude changes. But when you are having problems, it seems like everything that just get worse. And we have to learn how to break that chain, that spiral that's going downward. In Proverbs, the 17th chapter, and the 22nd verse. And this is what we have to understand. We have to learn how to do better. It says, a merry heart do is good, like a medicine. When you feeling good inside, that's medicine to you. When you're thinking positive, that's medicine. But a broken spirit dries the bones. What we eat can cause depression. We have to learn how to make ourselves feel better. We have to learn how to make ourselves do better. Look at what Proverbs, the 12th chapter, tells us in the 25th verse. It says, heaviness in the heart of man maketh it stoop, but a good word maketh it glad. When you are feeling down, feeling depressed, and somebody come and tell you a good word, say something good to you, it can make you feel better. And that's what we want. We want to be happy. We want life to be happy. If you are not happy in life, what's the purpose? We have to stop doing things that causes us to be depressed or be unhappy. We have to learn what makes us happy. And the problem that a lot of us have, what we have is what makes us happy. We can't look at the things around us and be happy about it. With me, I'm happy because the Creator woke me up this morning. He didn't have to do it. And I walked outside and seen that sun and seen how beautiful the day looked. I was happy. But some people, they are unhappy because the Creator did wake them up. They are unhappy because they don't even want to leave out the house. We have to figure it out. Life is precious. Life is precious for all of us. But look at what the scripture tells us in Psalms, the 147th division, in the 3rd verse. I'm going to always bring you back to this. He healeth the broken in heart and bindeth up their wounds. In other words, we have to learn to have faith in the Most High. He's telling us how to get that joy if we just accept it. We have to realize that when we have the joy of the Most High in us, we'll love life. We'll love ourselves. We'll love our people. The problem is we don't love ourselves. And because we don't love ourselves, we don't love others. We won't even do nothing to help others. But when you love yourself, you'll love others. In fact, when you love yourself, look at what the Creator tells us you'll do. Go to Isaiah, the 58th chapter. When you love yourself. When you love yourself, you won't try to do things that's going to glorify you. You're going to do things that's going to glorify others. In Isaiah 58, in verse 1, it say, cry aloud and spare not. Lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions, in the house of Jacob their sins. Ye that seek me daily, delight to know my ways, as a nation that did righteousness, and forsook not the ordinance of their Elohim. They ask of me the ordinance of justice. They take delight in approaching to Elohim. Now this is what the people do. They do everything to act like they are serving the Most High. They are say this or say that like they are doing everything they can to serve the Most High. But the Creator say, if you are truly serving me, if you are truly doing my will, listen to what he said you would do. He said, wherefore have we fast, say they? Thou seest not. Wherefore have we afflicted our souls? And thou takest no knowledge. He said, behold, in the day of your fast ye find pleasure, and exact all your labors. He said, behold, ye fast for strife, and debate, and to smite with the fist of wickedness. You shall not fast as you do this day, to make your voice to be heard on high. You shouldn't be fasting to be heard. What you do, you shouldn't do it just to be seen. Because if that's what you're doing it for, you're doing it for the wrong reason. He said, is it such a fast that I have chosen? A day for a man to afflict his soul? Is it to bow down his head as a bulrush, and to spread sackcloth and ashes under him? Would I call this a fast and acceptable day to Yah? Is not this the fast that I have chosen? To loose the bands of wickedness, to undo heavy burden, to let the oppressed go free, and that you break every yoke? Is it not to deal thy bread to the hungry? How many go out and feed the hungry? And that thou bring the poor that is cast out to thy house, when thou seest the naked, that thou coverest him. How many try to help those who have not, who have less than you have? And that thou hidest not thyself from thy own flesh. When you refuse to help others, you are refusing to help yourself. He said, then shall thy light break forth as the morning, and thy health shall spring forth speedily, and thy righteousness shall go before thee. The glory of Yah shall be thy reward. Then shall thou call, and Yah shall answer. Thou shalt cry, and he shall say, here am I. If thou take away from the midst of thee the yoke of putting forth the fingers and speaking vanity. If thou draw out thy soul to the hungry and satisfy the afflicted soul, then shall thy light rise in obscurity, and thy darkness be as the noonday. And Yah shall guide thee continuously and satisfy thy soul in drought, and make fat thy bones, and thou shalt be like the watered garden, and like a spring of water whose waters fail not. And they that shall be of thee shall build the old waste places. Thou shalt raise up the foundation of many generations, and thou shalt be called the repairer of the breach, the restorer of paths to dwell in. So if you really want to show yourself to be worthy of the Most High, what are you doing to help others? And you know what? When you are feeling down and you are feeling depressed, when you help others, it can lift you up. It can make you feel better. One of the reasons that a lot of us are catching hell because we don't want to do nothing to help somebody else. But we have to learn how to help others. Look at what Proverbs tell us in Proverbs, the 13th chapter, in the 12th verse. I know I went off track there, but I'm going to get back. It says, hope deferred maketh the heart sick. In other words, when you have an expectation for something and it don't come when you want it to come, we can get depressed. We can get sick. Because we want things right now. I don't want to wait. I want it now. Whether it's the doctor giving us a pill to make us better, or whether we get a large sum of money to help me get out of these problems. I don't want to wait. I want it right now. I don't care what nobody say. And if I can't get it now, then now I'm depressed. I'm sick. I don't know what to do. I'm out of control. But when we get it, when we want it, the scripture say, but when the desire cometh, it is like a tree of life. When we get what we want, we satisfied. But it don't always work like that. Another problem we have to break the chain, is our relationships, our marriages, our families. When they are not doing what we think they ought to be doing, we get depressed. We feel down. There are a lot of reasons a person can feel down about family. We can have a child that's on drugs. We can have a loved one that's sick. We can be done lost a loved one. And it could have us down and depressed. We can be to the point where we don't know what to do. Sometimes the only thing we can do is just put it in the hands of the Most High and just see how He's going to bring us through it. But sometimes It is so difficult for us that it brings us down. When we have a child that's refusing to be obedient, and we can be so worried about them that we become ill ourselves. Or we can have a child that's sick, and then we will become sick because we are so worried about them. But I know that when you done all you can do, when you done put it in the hands of the Most High, the only thing you can do is put it there, but you still have to live your life. No matter how difficult the situation is, we still have to live our life. Look at what the scriptures tell us in Psalms, the 127th division. One of the things that I want you to see is that when you done did everything you possibly can do to make sure that your house is in order, that's what the Most High expects of you. It doesn't mean always that things are going to be perfect. It doesn't mean that problems are not going to happen. But if you know you done all you can do, and you done put it in the hands of the Most High, all you can do is pray. But this is the thing I do know, that if you are not doing right and your children are not doing right, how can you expect right to come from it? Psalms 127 and verse 1 tell us, it says, except Yah build a house, they labor in vain that build it. Except you have the Most High in your house, what you are doing is in vain. Except Yah keep the city, the watchman watches but in vain. It is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrow, for so he giveth his beloved sleep. Sitting up worrying all night long, wondering what's going on with your family member. Giving up that beloved sleep that you need. Because if you don't get that sleep, guess what? They're going to be worried about you. He say, lo, children are heritage of Yah, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. As arrows are in the hands of the mighty man, so are children of the youth. Happy is the man that has his quiver full of them. They shall not be ashamed, but they shall speak with the enemies in the gate. Blessed is the man that has his quiver full. So as long as you're doing what you need to do, everything else going to work itself out. That's why the scriptures tell us in Proverbs, the 22nd chapter, in the 6th verse, train up the child in the way he should go, and And when he is old, he will not depart from it. If you know you done your part, then you don't have nothing to worry about. And I know it's difficult not to worry. But we have to understand something. We have to understand that problems are going to arise. And we have to learn how to make sure those problems are not bringing us down. And when they start bringing us down, we have to learn how to break that chain and turn in a different direction. Proverbs 11, chapter 29th verse. It says, he that troubleth his own house shall inherit the wind. If you do something to break up your own house, you deserve whatever you get. And let me say, if you have children that will cause you to go against your spouse, or you have family members that will cause you to go against your spouse, that means that you are allowing them to break up your own home. You are troubling your own house. It's saying the fool shall be servant the wise of heart. Let me tell you something. If a man have a wife, that wife is supposed to be there for that husband. And if a husband have a wife, he's supposed to be there for that wife. And I use as an example, I look at Zipporah. The Creator had just told Moses, look, go down and tell Pharaoh to let my son go. Go do it. And the minute Moses left out, the Creator was ready to kill him. Now you might say to yourself, why in the world would the Creator tell Moses to go do something, and the next minute he ready to kill him? Because Moses didn't do what he's supposed to do. And his wife saved his life. Now, she couldn't be quiet about the matter, but she saved his life. She had to speak. She had to say something, but let her speak. You was wrong. Moses didn't say nothing because he knew he was wrong. And sometimes we have to admit when we're wrong. And that's hard for a lot of guys. I'm going to leave that alone. But look at what the scriptures tell us in Exodus, the 4th chapter. In the 24th verse. Now this is just after the Most High is telling Moses, go tell Pharaoh to let my son go. It's saying it came to pass by the way in the end that Yah met him and sought to kill him. Now the Creator ready to kill him. After just telling him to go and tell Pharaoh to let my son go. Then Zipporah took a sharp stone and cut off the foreskin of her son and cast it at his feet and said, surely a bloody husband art thou to me. You are supposed to circumcise your son and you didn't do it. Now I have to do it. Here, this is what you're supposed to have been doing. So he let him go. Then she said, a bloody husband I die because of the circumcision. She couldn't just say, I've done this for you, honey. But here, and let you know that women been the same since the beginning of time. Ain't nothing changed. Nothing done changed. But Moses didn't get upset like a lot of us would have done. Who you think you're talking to? But look at what Joshua did. And we have to be like Joshua. In Joshua, the 24th chapter. Joshua put his house in order. And that's what we have to do. Joshua 24 and verse 15. We have to be like Joshua. He said, if it seem evil unto you to serve Yah, choose you this day whom you will serve. Whether the deities which your father served that were on the other side of the flood, or the deities of the Amorites in whose land you dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve Yah. In other words, Joshua was saying, I can't tell you what to do in your house, but in my house, we're going to serve Yah. We have to learn how to put our house under control. Look at it. What the Creator told Abraham, I know him. Because he's going to teach his household. And sometimes it doesn't matter how much you try to do the right thing. It doesn't matter how much you pray to the Most High. The scriptures tell us that chance and life happen to us all. All of us are going to leave here. And sometimes things can happen to us that is almost unbearable. So I've been here today telling you about finances. I've been telling you about your health. And telling you about your family. So I want to talk about a man who lost it all. And that's old man Job. Job lost it all. Job was a man that was so righteous. He prayed for his children just in case they might have thought something negative on the Most High. Job loved his children. Job was a very rich man. In fact, he was one of the richest men in the East. He had much cattle, much riches, and he lost it all. Can you imagine being in a situation where you lose everything? All of your property, all of your wealth, and on top of that, you lose your health. And on top of that, you lose your children. That's enough to drive anybody insane. And Job was struggling. Job had gone through a great depression. And then on top of that, his wife tell him to give up. It ain't worth it. Just go on, die. Can you imagine how his heart and how his mind was feeling? I just want to read a few of the problems that Job was going through. And I want to see whether or not you would have been any different than Job. In Job, the first chapter, we're going to go to the 18th verse. Here we have Job is being tempted by Satan. And Satan had said to the Most High, look, if you take that hedge from around and you done gave him everything, so why shouldn't he serve you? And the Creator said, I know Job. I know that Job is a faithful man. Creator said, I'll tell you what, you can do anything to him, but don't kill him. Job was afflicted. Everything taken away from him. And in the 18th verse, his children. These same children that he had been praying for daily. He said, while he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, thy sons and thy daughters were eating and drinking wine in thy eldest brother's house. And behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness and smote the four corners of the house, and it fell upon the young men, and they are dead. And I only am escaped alone to tell thee. They are dead. They're gone. Immediately, then Job arose and rent his mantle and shaved his head and fell down upon the ground and worshiped. He began to call unto Yah and said, naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. Yah gave, and Yah have taken away. Blessed be the name of Yah. In all this Job sinned not, nor charged Elohim foolishly. Job, learning that his sons had been killed, still called on the Most High. Now we look at this and say, well, Job was a faithful man. But Satan wasn't finished with him. That was his children. What about him? And you know, sometime when we see people going through things, we just don't understand what they're going through because we haven't gone through it. Can you imagine losing all of your children? Job's wife was so upset. She told Job, look, just go ahead on and curse the Most High and die. Because Job had fell sick. And she couldn't understand why all of this was happening. Can you imagine? Job hurting from the top of his head to the sole of his feet. So not only mentally is he messed up, but physically he's messed up. And then his wife come to him in Job, the 2nd chapter, in the 9th verse. Say, then said his wife unto him, does thou still retain thine integrity? Curse Elohim and die. This is his wife, the person that's supposed to be supporting him, telling him to curse the Most High and die. But he said unto her, thou speak as one of the foolish women speaketh. You speak like a fool. What? Shall we receive good at the hands of Elohim and shall not receive evil? In all this did not Job sin with his lips. With all that he was going through, Job didn't sin. Then on top of this, his wife doing everything she can to upset him. His friends came to him and told him, say, Job, it's something you doing. It's something that you are not doing right that causing all of this to come up on you. There is no way one man can go through all of this and you didn't do something. Can you imagine? These so-called friends. So Job, feeling the heaviness of losing his family, feeling the heaviness of being sick, feeling the heaviness of his wife turning against him, feeling the heaviness of his so-called friends condemning him. Job wanted to give up on life. Job wanted to just say, look, forget it. I can't deal with it. I would rather be dead than to go through all of this. All of this pain that I'm going through, I would rather just not be alive. When the burden is on you like this and you done made it to this point where you want to die, where you wish that you had never been born. This is why a lot of people commit suicide, because they can't deal with the stresses of life. They have a problem trying to cope. And Job was having a problem coping. In Job, the 3rd chapter, in the 1st verse, It said, after this opened Job his mouth and cursed his day. Job spake and said, let the day perish wherein I was born, and the night in which it was said, there is a man-child conceived. I wish I had never been born. Let that day be darkness. Let not Elohim regard it from above, neither let the light shine upon it. Let darkness and the shadow of death stain it. Let a cloud dwell upon it. Let the blackness of the day terrify it. Job regretted the fact that he had even been born because of all of this hurt and pain and suffering that he was going through. He said, as for that night, let darkness seize upon it. Let it not be drawn unto the day of the year. Let it not come into the number of the months. Lo, let that night be solitary. Let no joyful voice come therein. Let them curse it that curse the day, who are ready to raise up their mourning. Let the stars of the twilight thereof be dark. Let it look for light, but have none, neither let it see the dawning of a day. Because it shut not up the doors of my mother's womb, nor hid sorrow from my eyes. Job say, because I was born and had to go through all of this, because I had to go through this, I wish I had never come to light. He said, why died I not from the womb? Why did I not give up the ghost when I came out of the belly? Why did the knees prevent me? Or why the breast that I should suck? For now should I have lain still and been quiet and should have slept. Then had I been at rest. He said, if I hadn't never been born, I would be at peace. When kings and counselors of the earth, which built desolate places for themselves, or with the princes that had gold, who filled their houses with silver, or as a hidden untimely birth, I had not been as an infant, which never saw light. There the wicked cease from trouble, and there the weary be at rest. He said, if I hadn't never been born, if I had just died when I came out of my mother's womb, I would be at rest with the king. I would be at peace. Job had to have been going through something. Job's mind was troubling him that he didn't even want to be born. He said, there the prisoners rest together. They hear not the voices of the oppressor. Even the prisoners are at rest when they're dead. He said, the small and the great are there, and the servant is free from his master. Wherefore is light given to him that is in misery, and life unto the bitter in soul, which long for death, but it cometh not, and diggeth for more than for hid treasures, which rejoice exceedingly and are glad when they can find the grave. Why is the light given to a man whose way is hid, whom Elohim have hedged in? For my sign cometh before I eat, and my ruin are poured out like the waters. For the thing which I greatly feared is come upon me, and that which I was afraid of is come unto me. Job said, the thing that I feared most. And we all can probably agree the worst thing, the worst fear that we have is something would happen to our children. And Job is saying the thing that I fear the most, it can happen to me. I was not in safety, neither had I rest, neither was I quiet, yet trouble came. Job was looking at all that he had lost, all of the sickness that he was going through, the helplessness that he felt, the loss that he felt, the sickness that he felt. Can you imagine the pain that Job felt? Can you imagine not having the support that he needed from his wife and from his friends? Job was hurting to the point that he didn't want to live. So we have to learn how to break that chain of depression. And in the end, Job was able to break it. And Job found the solution in the Most High. And look at what Job said. Because Job admitted when he went through what he went through, he understood it all. Job, and going through the suffering that he went through, Job said these words. In Job, the 42nd chapter, Job realized something. He said, in the first verse, then Job answered Yah and said, I know that thou can do everything, and that no thought can be withholden from thee. Who is he that hideth counsel without knowledge? Therefore have I uttered that I understood not. Things too wonderful for me, which I knew not. Job said, I was saying things that I shouldn't have been saying because I didn't understand it. So I was saying things that I shouldn't have been saying. He said, here I beseech thee, and I will speak. I will demand of thee, and declare it. Declare thou unto me. I have heard of thee. Job say, after Job had came through his sickness and realized what he was doing wrong, and realized that he was blaming the wrong somebody. He was wondering why the Creator had put all of this upon him. So Job, when he came to himself, he said, I have heard of thee by the hearing of the ear. He said, for a long time I had been hearing about you. People had told me what you done for them. People done told me how you done blessed them. He said, but now my eyes see as thee. He said, now I see for myself. I understand everything now. Job said, wherefore I abhor myself. I hate myself because I didn't understand. I couldn't conceive it and repent in dust and ashes. Job repented because he just couldn't understand in his state, in his grief and in his pain and in his suffering. He couldn't understand. So Job said, I have heard about you. But after Job went through what he went through, he said, I know you from myself now. I know all about you. And until you go through something, you really don't understand. But when you go through it, you understand it clearly. Now, I know some people say, well, Job had went through all of that. Why would he want to live? Why would he want to live? He done lost his family. He's in pain. He's hurting. But what we have to learn how to do is enjoy life in spite of it. It's not saying that the pain is going to go away, that the hurt is going to go away. But if life stopped today, nothing else matters. If we die, that's the end of it. We can't see life as we want to see it. We can't have that chance that we want to have. If we die, nothing else matters. And if something else happened, we won't know about it. It's important that we have concern about ourselves, that we want to find ways to enjoy life, because life is short. And we have to learn that we're going to have some bad days and we're going to have some good days. And it's how we deal with those bad days that will determine how good our good days are going to be. Because we can have bad days and never want to have another good one. Some of us would want to take our life. Have you ever noticed how people work hard? They work hard, they get sick. They get sick. They would lose their life trying to make money. But then, if they get sick, they will spend all of their money trying to have life. And that's one thing I haven't understood, is why will we work ourselves down and then not be able to enjoy it? We have to learn how to enjoy life. That's the best thing we have. That's the best thing the Creator gave us. And we have to live our life to the fullest. And we have to find ways to make life better, even when we don't feel it. Even when the problems are piling up on each other. We have to find a way to enjoy it. So as I leave you, when problems do come up, like all of those that we have discussed, the one thing that they was able to depend on, and that was the Creator. And that's who we have to learn how to depend on. So as I leave you, thank you, and may the Creator bless you. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Do we have any questions or comments while the choir come up? If no questions, you're going to put your hand on the choir.